Welcome back, Wardalls. This is Steph.
And this is Cammie.
We're here with another exciting episode of the Wardalls podcast, where we put the spotlight on amazing women in our community.
Today we have Awkwardish Panda. Panda, welcome to the Wardalls podcast.
Oh, hi. That's me.
That's you. And you're here.
Thank you for having me on. This is exciting.
Oh, I'm excited.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the hobby.
Oh, wow. Started in the hobby in 2019. I became our household forever DM because I was working on a writing degree and everyone's like, well, good, you DM. But I have aphantasia, so I can't picture things in my head. So theater of the mind doesn't work for me in combat. I need to have a map. So I decided I was going to start learning how to paint minis. I did a whole bunch of research. I bought a kit. I followed a tutorial. It went really well. I said, cool, I can do this. And proceed to painting a few models really badly over a couple of years. And then I went to Adepticon 2023 and hung out with a bunch of people and got to see like what stuff was like in the cases and all sorts of things. And I was just like, oh my God, I want to do this. I'm going home and I'm changing all of my content over to painting. And I did that, which was probably not the smartest move from a business perspective, but I'm a lot happier painting than I was doing what I was doing before that streaming. So,
well, happiness is the important part.
Yeah, I was a fiber arts streamer, but the fiber arts community on Twitch is very, very fickle. And if I did anything besides crochet or cross stitch on stream, my numbers would go from like 75 to 100 to like 10.
Oh, gosh.
So if I wasn't doing that, I didn't have people around, and it started to make one of my favorite hobbies feel like a job. And then I'm just like, I'm going to just try painting and see what happens. And I lost 90% of my income, 75% of my viewership. And I basically had to rebuild from the ground up. But I started taking painting really, really seriously starting in April of 2023. So it's going to be 2 years of basically painting being my full-time thing right after Adepticon.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a lot happier with it. I really enjoy the painting community on Twitch. It's just so rad.
Yeah, so you've only really been doing this for like 2 years.
Yeah.
That's so
your
awesome.
Stuff your stuff is great.
Thank you. I'm very, very proud of what I have accomplished over the last couple of years, just really digging in hardcore and learning all I can and practicing. And I'm a chronic workaholic, so there are days that I am at my desk painting for 14 or 15 hours because something just doesn't look right. So I'm going to fix it until it's right.
Mm. Yeah, we have talked about that on another episode.
Yeah, it's wild. I do a lot to try to get better. I'm really good at having to think on the fly with stuff. I've had to deal with that all this week. And I know we're going to talk about competition pieces in a little bit, but I had the biggest disaster ever with a Golden Demon piece 9 days ago.
Oh, gosh.
A diorama I had been working on for a month and a half. The diorama base basically exploded. It had a weird chemical reaction to a water pour. And it went from, I have been working on this for months to, I have 2.5 weeks to figure something out.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And the pivot piece already looks great. So.
Yay!
But it's because it's like, I mean, I have people in my community that very frequently will tell me that they look up to me, that they respect me, that my work ethic, all this stuff. What was I going to do? Quit?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, you just pivot. You figure it out.
Right. Never been there before. Oh my gosh. So
I was just going to ask, where does the name Awkwardish Panda come from?
Okay, so wild story. I got doxxed to a very, very shitty and abusive ex with my previous screen name on Twitch. And his new girlfriend landed in my DMs. And I was like, okay, this is not cool. I don't know how you found me. BRB changing all of my handles and blocking you on everything I know. And I had to figure out something on the fly. And I tend to be just really, really awkward. Like the running joke is that I'm really awkward and roughly panda-sized. And I am kind of awkward, and pandas are my favorite animal. So I was trying to get awkward panda, but that was taken. I'm like, well, I'm not that awkward. So maybe awkward-ish. And that wasn't taken. And I just did a full clear of all my social media. And I had kind of thought about streaming a little bit here and there, but then it was like, I'll have something if I do something, but he's never going to find me with this handle. So let me just do that. And that's what I ran with. And it's become an entire brand.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So yeah, I like it. A lot of people like love it. It's very funny because there's some people that call me Panda. Well, most people call me Panda, right? Almost
Right.
everybody calls me Panda. There are a few places where everyone calls me Awkwardish, and I'm just like, man, that is so jarring because it's not the easier of the two words.
Right. It's kind of awkward
Yeah,
ish.
exactly. It's just
That's
kind of an awkward
it's
word.
perfect. I love it. It's so meta.
It really is. And then there's one person that calls me Pandy, and he is the only person allowed to call me that. So
Aw.
it's Impending Duff has decided that my nickname is Pandy, and I'm like, okay, you are the only person allowed to call me that. If anybody else tries it, I have a very heavy bag.
Aw.
All right. So, yeah, I got you back. You're going to be at Adepticon this
I
month. Oh
I
my gosh.
am.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not. I'm
I'm going to be
sad.
there in 2 weeks and 3 days, or 2 weeks and 2 days. I'm going to be on site. Not even.
That's
Yeah.
great. Steph's going to be there too, and we're going to do
I will be there. Yep.
right,
Yep.
and she's going to do a live hobby hang.
Yeah, it's Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
going to be great.
We're going to start it at like 6:00 and then take it right into the gender minority event that's happening. So
Yep, I
we'll
am
kind
signed up
of-
for that, and my plan is to be there as long as the potential Thursday night plans we have don't run over.
Okay. Yeah.
Which
so
they
we're
did
just
last
gonna...
year. Last year, our Thursday night thing that we all went to, it was supposed to be 10 people, and then it was 15, and then it was like 35.
Oh my gosh.
And it ran a lot later than we planned. So
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be down there with the gender minority group. I know that doesn't start till 8, but we're going to start at 6. So we'll have 2 hours of just war dolls, and then once the gender minority event starts, we're just going to kind of blend into that.
yeah, that's awesome. I am going to do my best to be there for at least the gender minority meetup, if not both.
That's exciting.
Great.
What other events are you planning on doing?
Well, I do a lot with the Paint and Pass, which I know Spark talked to y'all a little bit about with Tony, or You Got Me Monologuing. He streams the charity Paint and Pass from Adepticon every year, and
Okay.
I have basically gotten roped into helping him with that starting last year. It's a great thing. It's all for charity. All sorts of painters from every skill level. There's 5-year-olds that paint on it every year. Sits down and we all paint a gigantic model together. This year it is going to
Oh.
be the Fellowship versus the Balrog. And it's already like fully wired for LEDs and all sorts of cool stuff.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. And I basically sit there because I'm awkward in the sense that I'm not particularly shy with new people I don't know. Like if it's online friends that I haven't met in person yet, I tend to be very shy. But if it's like someone I just do not know, it's like, here, sit down and paint. We need help. Sit down and paint. And then, you walk away with your friends. It works. Or in my case, you walk around with a bunch of dudes who call you mom. That's my life now.
What else do you have going on at the con?
I have a couple of classes on Friday. I am taking AC Miniatures texture class on Friday afternoon. And then I have a dinner with a group of friends Friday night. And then right after that, I go to another class with AMG with Jason from Monument Hobbies from 8:30 to 10:30. And then Lord knows after that, chaos will likely ensue because it's a bunch of people from their chat all going to be taking the class. It's going to be really wild chaos, I have a feeling. And then I'm just going to sleep in Saturday morning. And then other than that, it's Golden Demon, and just hanging out with friends is going to be the biggie, is just running around to everyone that I don't usually get to see. And just getting all of the hugs, because all of us have had a really rough last like 12, 13 months. And we're just like, we need to see our friends.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the one thing I'm most excited about, is seeing all the people that we've become friends with over the years. And, because we only get to see them once a year, and it's just so exciting.
Yeah. And it's, for me, it's wild because like I said, my first Adepticon did not go well. I had a really, really bad con in 2023. And I'm not going to go into it was just a lot of just really weird stuff that happened. And then last year, I got there the day of, but I had a friend who was like, hey, we're already here. We're going to lunch, get downstairs. And immediately pulled me in with a group of people and was like, come on, let's go. And I got to meet a whole bunch of people that I had only met online. And off we ran. And for the rest of the con, I had people to talk to. I had people to hang out with. Tony put me at the paint and pass to help out, and I got to meet a bunch of people that way. So it's like I didn't have the option of chickening out and like running to my room or something. It was, no, you have stuff to do. Sit down.
They didn't give you a choice.
Yeah, I was really not given a choice at all.
So you talked about Golden Demon, and you've got your entry for that. Do you want to talk about that piece, or do you kind of want to keep it a secret?
No, I mean, it's pretty public. The original idea, so Brush for Hire on Twitch does a quote unquote subversive thing every year. So 2 years ago, it was Ballerina Space Marines. Last year was Unicorn Squigs or Squigacorns. This year it's Furry Space Marines. And I immediately, when he announced it, knew I was going to do what I was going to call 3 Space Wolf Moon. And I was going to take that 3 Wolf Moon meme t-shirt and turn it into a Space Wolves diorama. Oh, wow. And I knew immediately that's what I was going to do. I knew how it was going to work. I knew what it was going to look like. I'd already started sketching stuff out, and everything was going fine until it blew up 9 days ago.
Oh no.
So now it's Lone Space Wolf Moon.
Oh,
and
no.
I basically took the whole theme of the diorama and I pulled it into a piece that's a 54 millimeter base as opposed to a big actual like shadow box diorama.
Okay.
So I have that, and that's going to be kind of my main piece. I was put on new medication back in December, and it has messed up my system really bad. So my ability to paint in like long bursts has been truncated a lot. So just while I'm still adjusting, I haven't been able to do as much as I really wanted to get done. Nova will be a lot different. Nova, I have multiple pieces planned, including one that is 9.5 inches tall.
Oh my gosh.
She's big. She's a 140 millimeter scale model, and she's real pretty.
That's exciting.
Yeah, she's like a cyberpunk, like she's standing on this giant junkyard pile of like cars and stuff. She's so cool. But my partner printed her for me and goes, "Hey babe, this is kind of cute. Will you paint this for me?" And I'm like, what is it? And then he showed me and I'm like, "Oh no. Oh, I have to paint this. Oh
right,
no."
Right.
Now what? What happened to all the other stuff I was going to paint? Oh no. But I'm going to start painting her when I get back. And then it'll
sometimes you just got to grab it.
It's a really, really good model by this sculptor named Erickson, who does just incredible sculpts and incredible work. And it's all super highly detailed. This particular model has tons of fiddly stuff, which is my favorite thing to paint. I love anything that tells a story. So anything with a bunch of fiddly bits, I'm just absolutely going to love. And she's got like water bottles and canteens and like a grenade and like a bunch of carabiners. She's got pins on this like hip pouch that she has. It's wild. I'm just going to full send paint the entire thing. We're going to put tattoos on her. Like, I'm so excited about it.
You should be. That sounds wonderful. I look forward to seeing it.
That sounds really badass.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it is going to turn out the way that I want it to turn out, but it's going to be months of work, and then I've got some cool down pieces and stuff sitting aside, plus whatever I pick up at Adepticon to work with. So,
as a woman in the painting hobby or gaming, just in general, have you ever run into any difficulties with toxicity because of your femme presentation?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
How do you cope with that?
How do I cope with it? I can do all things through spite, which strengthens me.
Oh, you are my hero.
Go ahead and tell me I can't do something and watch what happens. That's why I have a degree on my wall that we kid is my degree in smut, because my advisor said they would never give me a degree in literature or creative writing or anything if all I was writing was romance. And all I did was write romance for my entire degree, and I graduated with honors, because don't tell me I can't do something.
Good for you. Good for you.
Powerful motivator.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's one of those things where, especially in the streaming space, as a femme perceived person, or just as a woman in general in the streaming space, like, you have to work so much harder than all of the beardy cishet white dudes or beardy dudes that look like dudes or non-binary folk that are mask presenting. You have to just work so much harder. And then if you're somebody like me who is not conventionally attractive, you have to work that much harder. Like, the space is just unfair to women. And the more marginalizations you have, like if you're queer, if you're disabled, I am both, like it just becomes this whole thing of what are we doing here? Like we all, it's not pie.
It's everybody's space. Everybody has a spot.
And we have all of these wonderful women and we are all trying to like lift each other up and do our best for one another. And there are some great guys in the space that will absolutely like that are they're just built different and they are like, no, you need to go talk to this woman and you need to go see this person. Like I know of a couple of people who have thrown me commissions because they've decided they're not doing commissions anymore and I was the name that got brought up. Like they are trying to do their best to make things as equitable as possible, but not everybody does that.
No, you're quite right. And it's those bad apples, unfortunately, that give the guys a bad name.
Yeah.
But yes, there are some wonderful guys out there. I met several of them at Adepticon. There are several here local, so just some great people that really, really have, especially, when I mentioned the mission, of the War Dolls, they were like, oh yeah, you should absolutely do that.
Yeah.
We talked to we have another war doll, Erin, and she mentioned Jordan down there in Florida, and he's been a huge supporter of us. And Adam, several of the Adams at Army Painter have been really supportive of us too. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's the guys are out there, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. The what we see you.
We see
Y'all,
you.
we know it's not all men, but the ones that say it are not the ones that we're talking about.
Right.
Like we get it. Like some of
Right.
y'all are great dudes and we need more of you to be like that.
We do, but we do need to point the finger at the bad apples so they can learn. Because a lot of them don't understand that they're doing it. There's microaggressions.
Mm-hmm.
It's those little chippy things that you might not think of when you say, hey
Mhm.
guys, that can be exclusive, to the listener. You don't intend it that way, but I've seen it, I've heard it, I've witnessed it. It happens. So
Yeah, it happens all the time, and it's just like, okay, cool, thanks.
right.
Like we get that it's a boys' club, but it doesn't have to be.
It's not. Yeah, right. We're here. We're not going
Like
anywhere.
Tony from You Got Me Monologuing, the guy who runs the Paint and Pass, he says that women are the best thing that ever happened to the hobby because it made nerds start showering.
Not all of them.
Yeah,
not all of them,
not
but
all, not all of them, not all men. Yeah, we had there's been a couple of game stores that I have frequented that have a sign that says, go home and put on deodorant.
I carry Febreze around in my mom bag just in case.
I have a stick of deodorant and I will offer it to you. If you don't mind smelling like flowers, you can keep that one. But yeah, that's one of the things we like to address here. So I appreciate your answer.
No problem. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. And especially like with streaming, the more, like I said, the more marginalized you are, the harder you have to work. And, you don't see a whole lot of Black women in the hobby because a lot of them don't feel welcome here. And I think that's bullshit because they should be.
That is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I have a mission.
Yeah. We need to create that space for people who are the more marginalized, the safer they need to feel in a community and they need to see themselves reflected in it. And conventions need to do better to spotlight people. Brands need to do better to spotlight people. Companies need to do better. Like we all need to do better to find those people and give them a platform.
Yes.
And on more than just the one day, like
Right.
yesterday with it just being International Women's Day. Yes,
Right.
Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
And
like,
it was really great seeing all the women.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
were doing it. But yeah, we need
to
see that.
we need to highlight those girls more than once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're working on that.
Yep.
We are.
That's our mission.
Yep.
So what is some advice that you wish you had been given as a new painter?
That you don't need to know everything right off the bat. Learning fundamentals is fine, but get the good tools and use the good tools. I was very like, I can't buy anything expensive. I can't get good paint. I can't get good brushes until I know what I'm doing. And boy, once I got some good paint and some good brushes for the first time, the way my painting like leveled up basically overnight because I had better equipment. Just start with the good stuff. Get some recommendations on a handful of colors, on brands from a painter you respect, and all of us will answer those questions. There are very few people that will gatekeep their information on the brands and the stuff that they love and what they use. Just reach out to a painter that you like and be like, hey, that's really cool. What brands of paints do you prefer? And then get some of those. Don't buy the whole line, buy a handful of paints, buy a couple of good brushes, but like, just get the good stuff off the bat because you will be going in and not needing to learn how to paint with better tools because you'll just already know.
That's really good advice.
I was kind of in the same boat. Like, I've only been painting for a little over a year, and I went to like Walmart and bought a cheap set of brushes. And I recently picked up just a very small set of army painter brushes, and I tell you what, the difference those make is
okay. Now go get yourself some
wild.
Because oh boy, I finally got my first like real big girl sables like a couple of months ago, and the difference is wild.
I will look for those at Adepticon.
I tried the expensive brushes a long time ago, and it could be, because it was a long time ago, but I found out I could wear them out almost as fast as a junk brush. However, we do have like brush soap and several other, cleaning methods and whatnot. So if you take care of your brushes, they will do you really well. But
and nothing will make you take care of your brushes more than having to pay $20 for a paintbrush.
Right. So
you'll learn to take care of those bad boys real quick.
I kind of went a different direction. I buy the junk brushes in bulk and I'll use them until they burn out and throw them away.
I know a ton of people who do that too, and both are valid. I guess it really just depends on what you want to do.
But I don't paint for Golden Demon. I won my trophy and I'm content with that. It's a little tiny trophy, but it was for best painted and I won it. And I'm content. I like to paint. So I can get them on the table and roll the dice. So I don't have the higher standard. And for that, you may need the better brushes. So definitely keep that in mind when you're deciding what your painting goal is.
Totally. Like I'm not gonna bust out like my really expensive stuff on like an army I'm painting or anything like that. Like I don't get to do a ton of army painting because I don't play because my brain can't process the information fast enough. But I had a brain injury in 2009, also 2019. And it like I can't process stuff like that. So I don't play, but I love to paint. So that's where I focus all of my stuff is on the painting side of the hobby. Okay. But yeah, for somebody that's just trying to get stuff on the table, buy the cheap pack of brushes and just get it on the table and you're going to do just fine.
So what kind of motivation do you use to get your painting done? Like if you're not in the mood or if what gets you in the mood to paint?
I'm kind of always in the mood to paint, to be honest. Like there's very rarely a time where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I mean, right now I'm kind of in the run up to Golden Demon and I've been looking at the same piece nonstop for 2.5 months and I just had to redo like all of it in the last 8 days. So I'm a little irritated with this project, but at this point I have to be done because Assassin's Creed comes out and I also work with Ubisoft and I'm going to be streaming the game the day after this podcast goes live. Actually, I will be, so tomorrow, hi y'all, I will be streaming Assassin's Creed because I have obligations with that too on the streaming side. So it's like, I need to be done with this and I need to be done with it now. So how quickly can I get it done so I can take a nap? And then I will come back from Adepticon, fully recharge. My social battery will recharge because I'm one of those weird people that I go to a con and my social battery recharges as opposed to like completely burns out. Because I'm very isolated at home. I'm disabled. My daughter's disabled. I have a lot going on. I don't have a lot of local people that I have around. I don't have a ton of family. So like all of my quote unquote family, my found family, we're all at Adepticon together. So it will recharge me, and I will come home just super jazzed to paint for a few months, and then I'll go to Nova and be super jazzed to paint for a few months, and then I'll go to Dragonfall and be super jazzed to paint for a few months. And it's just one of those things of just getting to be around other creative people like in person and getting to see their work and being able to like hold these models in hand and like be able to look at them and get really up close and ask people about their processes. And then I want to go home and I want to learn all the things. So I'll just sit here for days.
I love it.
I'll be here like 12, 14 hours a day sometimes, just head down painting, and I'll look up and be like, I think my stomach just growled. What time is it?
I've had those days. I remember having those days. That's great. Are there any women outside of the hobby that inspire you?
Outside of the hobby?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I focus really hard in the hobby and the women that are in the hobby because I didn't have a lot of really good role models growing up. I didn't have access to stuff growing up because I grew up with the no internet generation.
Yes.
You know, I didn't have people to look up to. I grew up in a home situation that was really, really, really bad. But if you step outside of like just the specific like Warhammer hobby, there's a lot of like streamers that I look up to, like Cypher of Tyr, who's one of my dear friends.
Okay.
She's an incredible human being and a wonderful streamer. She does paint minis, but she's not really into wargaming. But she's real big into like video gaming and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the people that inspired me to start streaming. You know, it's one of those things where a lot of it's like person to person stuff. Like I'd love to be able to name some names, but then I'm doxing myself.
Oh,
It's just for some of
yeah,
it. But
don't
like,
do that.
you know, there's some family members. There's, you know, like there's a bunch of teachers at my kids' schools that have been amazing over the years. Because my little one is she has quite a bit going on medically and mental health wise, and she can be a lot, and she has had some teachers that have been like amazing for her. And it's, you know, it's like I try to look for the heroes in everyday people without putting them on pedestals, I guess, if that makes sense. It's one of those I look to other people doing good and doing the right thing, like IRL, as opposed to the big like ooh real famous people kind of thing. And it's like, you know, I look to those people and try to emulate their goodness. And, you know, I try to be the person that I wish I would have had, bouncing off like things that I learned from people in my actual personal life.
That's awesome.
And my oldest kid's pretty rad. So I have two. So
Are any of your kids into the hobby at all?
yes, both of them.
Excellent.
That's
good
amazing.
parenting.
My oldest, my partner and I, our oldest, and she's my stepdaughter. She's 27, which we had to sit with ourselves and be like, oh my God, she's almost 30 a couple of days ago.
Mine's 33.
Yeah. And then our little one is about to be 11. So they're both, the little one likes to paint. She likes to tell stories. She likes to write. The older one is getting more into painting, but she's now the DM for the home game. So I'm no longer the forever DM. I'm still painting most of the minis, but
you got some backup.
She's jumped into the DM seat. She's starting to paint some stuff. She's building terrain on her own. It's great.
That is great.
That's awesome. I love that. So tell us about Adeptus Momfriendicus.
Oh my God, the Adeptus Mom thing. So last year, I'm sitting at the paint and pass, and this girl runs up to me, and I still to this day have no clue who she is. Runs up to me, are you Adeptus Mom? And I blue screened. Like I personally 404 errored, and I said, what? Are you Adeptus Mom? I'm like, who the is Adeptus Mom? She's like, are you the lady with the stuff? I'm like, what are you talking? My husband's having an allergic reaction. He needs some Benadryl. Somebody said, go to the paint and pass and find Adeptus Mom. She will have it on her. And I'm like, I have the Benadryl. Let me get that. And I'm handing, who the fuck called me Adeptus Mom? I don't know, some guy. And she ran off. And for like the next 2 hours, every single person that I had met over the day, do you know who started this? Where did this come from? What is this? What is going on here? I don't know, but you're Adeptus Mom now. And I'm just like, what is happening? what? And now everyone calls me Adeptus Mom. It's become a thing because like I said, my oldest is 27. And this is where, like, the other day my brain fried for a minute. 11 years ago, I was team mom for her junior Olympic volleyball team. I had 13, 16-year-old girls who hated each other that I was in charge of. I learned to be as prepared as you could possibly be with everything a bunch of 16-year-olds might need. And it just became a thing. Whenever I go to cons, I have the bag with all of the stuff. I have like a little pill case that's got like Imodium and Gas X and Lactaid and like ibuprofen and Tylenol for the people who can't have ibuprofen, and Aleve for people who prefer that, and some Mucinex for anybody who's getting a little allergies, and allergy meds. And like I have all of that stuff in a little case. And then I've got like my sewing kit to fix cosplays because I go to like PAX U and stuff like that. And then I've got all of like my kit to fix models and my extra Panda Tack, which that's its own whole thing. And everybody loves my blue tack. I have my own blue tack recipe, and it's become a whole thing. Um, but I have like a bag full of anything and everything people could possibly need. Like I have a case that has like pads and tampons in it. I have a case that's got like a first aid kit in it. I have all sorts of stuff that if somebody needs something at a convention, I've got you. And then on Saturday night, I'm also the person with the booze and the bottles of water and the snacks.
Awesome.
And it just became a thing. And then somebody made a joke that it should just be like the Adeptamom or Adeptus Momfriends. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to call it Adeptus Momfriendicus, and we're just going to make merch, and it's just going to be a thing now. And now it's a thing. So we're basically, it's anybody can be part of the Adeptus Momfriendicus. It doesn't matter what your gender is. You are the person that brings the stuff and takes care of the people around you, because not everybody has that person. And that's kind of what started it. Was just some random woman ran up to me needing Benadryl, and I had no clue what was going on, and I dissociated for like 20 minutes after she left.
Oh, wow.
I was just like staring into nothing, trying to figure out what the heck had just happened, because I was so confused. And it's become a thing, and we have like a logo, and we've got merch, and I'm going to have stickers at Adepticon. Feel free to come ask for one.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it's all very, very silly, but it's just become a thing.
That's great. You need to share that in our Discord,
Sure.
because I definitely want to know more about it.
Yeah, it's really, there's nothing to it. It's just we're the mom friend people, and like obviously with consent, because there's some people that really don't like the mom
Right.
friend terminology because they have issues with their own parents. So,
Fair enough.
it's just become a thing, and it's like, if somebody says that's a boundary, you respect that boundary, and
Of
that's,
course. Of course.
that's where we are. But it really is just because I am the lady with the stuff, because I come prepared to a convention, because you never know when someone's going to need something. Like I have a power brick that can run a MacBook Pro for 3 hours in my bag.
That's fantastic. I can relate. My own purse is a handbag of holding. I don't know if you remember
I
the
do. They are making those again.
That's great that they're making those again, because it's so good. I've got
Mm-hmm.
everything in my bag. I've got a sewing kit. I keep my makeup in there. Like I have,
Mm-hmm.
I when I was working outside the home, I did I called it Stoplight Salon, and you
No,
know,
that's fair.
every,
I've been there, done that. Yep.
right. You've been to Stoplight Salon, so my makeup's in there. I've got there's a couple of weapons in there.
See,
Scissors.
my
I have a multi-tool sewing kit, emergency role-playing dice. I mean, anything you need.
yeah, I have a bag of dice in my bag at all times. I always have at least one D20 on me and a couple of D6s, because you can do pretty much anything with that.
Yep.
I have my so my like little go bag that's in my bag that has like all my personal stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
It literally looks like an evidence bag.
Oh, I love it.
It's from a company called Blue Q that does a lot of like recycled stuff. Their stuff is great, but it's my little evidence bag, and it's got like all of my personal stuff in it. So if I need to like leave my bag at the paint and pass and be like, here's all of the stuff, somebody just chill. If somebody needs something, you know where to get it in the bag. I'm going to
Here,
go out. I can just take that with me.
yeah. Here's the kit.
So yeah, it's like that. But I usually have extra chapsticks and stuff. I don't usually carry a lot of my makeup around with me because I don't wear makeup that much. But I do usually have like there's a few tubes of chapstick in there. It's like all of my stuff, plenty of Lactaid because being lactose intolerant and going to Wisconsin is terrifying.
Oh gosh.
So it's
Just being there.
oh no, it's even worse because I'm also allergic to beer.
Oh, honey.
I'm allergic to hops, so I have to be real careful everywhere we go in Milwaukee.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, no, I mean, I have all of my stuff in like that bag, but it's yeah, it's literally I have a little of everything, and it's just really there, and I almost never need all of it. I very rarely need all of it. I usually only need one or two things out of it at any given con, but it's one of those. It's always different what somebody's gonna need. So it's there if we need it. And if we don't need it, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, especially in a new city where people don't know where stuff is. And like, I mean, the Renaissance for all of the issues the Schaumburg Convention Center had, they had a mini CVS kiosk in the building. So if you needed something, there was stuff there if there was an emergency. I don't know if the Baird Center has that, though does seem like a very accessible convention center from everything I've seen. Like they have a quiet room and that kind of stuff, but like
Yeah.
you never know what they're going to have on hand or how close things are. And if you have somebody like me that's got a mobility issue, if I'm on a high pain day, I can't walk to a CVS. And I know there's going to be other people in the same boat. So it's just bring what you need.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. You're working on a community army called Project Pandamonium. I love it.
Yes. Project Pandamonium.
Tell us more.
So we decided to go a little wild for my 5-year stream anniversary, which is this year. I'll be in November. I will have been streaming for 5 years. I was a little COVID streamer baby, like a lot of people were. But to celebrate, I wanted to do something as a community because my community is always like, we should all get together and do something, but it's so hard for everybody to get to conventions. What do we want to do? And I put some thought into it. I talked to a couple of people. I'm like, would it be too much of an ask to ask people to send me a painted model? Even if it can just be a cheap mini, like if it's not like whatever, we'll vote on it as a community and everybody can tell me what they want to do. So we did a bunch of rounds of voting to pick out what we were going to do for the army. And we decided it was going to be miniature agnostic to allow people to pick from whatever IP they want. So like, I know I have some Dungeons and Dragons minis coming while somebody else is painting like a whole ass knight for me. I'm doing Calgar and his honor guard, and I'm painting them in the most heretical way possible. It just became a thing. And so we did a bunch of votes. So we decided miniature agnostic so people can send whatever they want. Because there's a few people that have minis picked out that represent them. And then they're going to paint them in the colors. And we picked my channel colors, with the one exception being that if you paint an ultramarine, he can be part of the Ultra Pans unit and you can add pink. Because it's going to piss a lot of angry fanboys off. And I'm fully okay with this.
I love it.
We can do all things through spite, which strengthens us, and pettiness is next to godliness. So when in doubt.
So I saw this project on Instagram, and I immediately like screenshot all of the slides that you had of like the rules of the project, and I'm totally down to send you a model.
Oh my god, that'd be so great. I would absolutely love that. And like, because part of it is for me to give back to the community. So what I'm doing is when I get a model, I will be putting it in my personal photo booth and all of my stuff with all of my good photography equipment that I have, or at least the best that I have right now. I'm going to photograph it. I'm going to film it. I'm going to get 360s on my turntable. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to use the platform that I have to show it to everyone and spotlight the artist that has sent me something, should they want to. Now, if somebody says, I really don't want to be spotlighted, just feel free to just post pictures. That's fine. But the goal is like, especially because I do have a lot of other streamers, I do have some up and coming streamers that are members of my community. Like, it's a way for me to get a spotlight on my community, because my community is not huge, but it's not exactly small. I'm about 110 away from 3,000 followers on just Twitch.
Holy cow.
You know, so I have a decent following. I just stream at such an odd time because I have a little one in school and life. There's a lot of people at work, so my numbers aren't huge, but I have a lot of people that watch VODs and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to do a thing where I could give back, but also do something kind of fun that will push me a little bit. Because I'm organizing a really big thing. The goal is I have all of the models in hand by the day after I get back from Nova. So we launched it on March 3rd, and I have to have everything 6 months from that, which is September 3rd.
Perfect.
And if I have everything in hand by then, I'm going to take the next month and a half to build a display board to showcase all of the models. And I'm going to film the entire process and edit the video. And then on my streamiversary, which is November 15th, we're going to launch the YouTube with that. We're going to be putting up a bunch of new YouTube content after that. I'm going to be working on filming some other stuff in between because I am trying to diversify the content a little bit as opposed to just Twitch, just in case, because there's some rumors flying around. You never know how long Twitch is going to be there. So it's one of those things where just in case I want to make sure that I have another platform operating a little bit. It gives me an excuse to start working on that and start getting better at things. I get to learn how to build a display, though the way we're doing the display may be a little different because I have a friend who bought me the coolest thrifted find I've ever seen in my entire life. It's a baby panda poster, but it's like pre-framed and there's a ton of negative space on the poster that I can mount shelving to. So we're thinking about just adding shelves and lighting to it and then just displaying it and hanging it on the wall because I have a space that's over my shoulder when I'm streaming that you would be able to see it on stream at all times. So I could have it up where everybody could see it like every time I stream. Basically, you would be able to see the entire display with everybody's work on it and have it easily accessible where I could just pop up and grab it and show off people's models and talk about them and that kind of thing. So it's a way for me to give back. There's also going to be a giveaway involved. Because like I said, I'm doing Calgar and his honor guard, and his honor guards are the exact same model, just flipped. So I'm painting two of them exactly the same, and I'm going to let the person that wins the giveaway. So everybody who sends me something will get entered in the giveaway, and I'm going to draw it after the video releases. And then that person will get to pick if they want the left or the right, and they get to take one of those models will get shipped to them. So they'll have something that I've sunk hundreds of hours to it because I am going to paint them to display quality. So
fantastic.
I'm going to paint them almost to the point where I would be painting them for a competition so that somebody will get, you know, what will amount to a very, very expensive model that they'll get to pick between what's there, and then they'll get shipped that, and then people get spotlighted, and I have a whole army to show off on stream of look at what my community did together. And I've already told people it doesn't matter how good you paint. I just want to get people painting because everybody's like, I need an excuse to paint something. Well, now you have an excuse to paint something.
Right? That's kind of where I'm at because I'm at the point where I'm ready for Adepticon, and I just started painting some terrain today because I was like, I don't know what to work on. And then the other day, like I said, I saw your post about your community project, and I'm just like, yes, I'm going to find a really kick-ass model at Adepticon and use that for this.
I will absolutely love to have it. I'm super stoked for that. I'm hoping more people get involved. I'm hoping a lot. I know there is one model that is complete. I got tagged in it the other day. I know one person has completely finished a model. I don't know if it's been shipped yet or if they're going to hand it to me at Adepticon. I'm not 100% sure if they're going or not, but there is one person that has finished a model. And a couple more people that have said, I'm going to hand you something at Adepticon. I'm like, oh my God, really? Do I need to like bring an extra case? And like, okay. It's a good thing I'm driving.
Yeah. I was just going to say, at least you're driving home and you can just, you know, take an extra bin for all the models people hand you.
Yeah. My husband's going to show up and I'm just going to be like, okay, so this is today's load of models that have to go back to the house.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have a whole long way to go.
No, I live about an hour and a half away from Milwaukee, so it's not super far from me. It is much further than Schaumburg was because Schaumburg was like, I didn't have to stay on site. It was like a 30-minute drive on a bad day.
Yeah.
So I have to stay on site now because 3 hours in the car every day is going to be too much for my body to take. So it's like, I kind of got to. And when you're staying on site, it's just much easier anyway, because I stayed on site last year and I'm really glad that I did. But you know, it's just so much further now. And people are like, it's not that far. I'm like, yeah, no, it is that far. I have to drive through rural Wisconsin with a bunch of stickers on my car that yell that I'm queer. it's real far. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so yeah, but I mean, it's a thing. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. At some point during Adepticon, we're allegedly having a Stitch and Bitch where I'm going to be teaching a bunch of people how to crochet, which I'm super excited about that one because I crocheted some stuff for some people and a few people are like, I want to learn how to do that. I'm like, I'll bring hooks and yarn. It's fine.
Love it.
I love that. So you also painted a model for the Fabulous Marines.
Yes.
So we just had Zambies on, and she was telling us about the Fabulous Marines. How did you get involved with that?
So I talked to a couple of different people. I had heard about Fabulous Marines. I didn't really know how to get involved with it the first year I had heard about it. And then the next year I did. And then I have a friend who's a streamer out of Australia named Dragon Cure, and they had talked to me about it and were like, you should really participate. I think that you would have a lot of fun with it. And I'm just like, yeah, but I take umbrage with the Trevor Project. I don't love them as a charity.
Okay.
So I reached out to Zambies and the people in Giggle and Geekette and the people that run Fabulous Marines. And I was like, and I know Zambies talked about this on her podcast too, that people raise money for other stuff. And I talked to them and I was like, as long as it's a queer charity, is it okay if I raise something for somebody else? And they were like, yeah, no, absolutely. We have people that raise money for all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I raise money for Trans Lifeline, which is it's another crisis line, though they don't just work in the US and they have nothing but trans people basically that answer the phone, and their policies and how phone calls are handled are a lot different. Because the Trevor Project has some policies that I don't personally agree with. I also don't love that they only work in the US. So I was looking for more international charities, especially with like the global stuff. So I raise money for, I think this year we're going to do Rainbow Railroad. Either that or it's going to be Trans Lifeline again. It's one of the two. But Rainbow Railroad works globally to get queer folks out of countries where it is literally illegal to be queer and you could lose your life for it.
Oh, wow.
And then Trans Lifeline also does like micro grants and stuff to help with name changes, and they help with getting like attorneys and stuff if you need to get gender markers changed, and especially with right now with the current political climate, they're going to need all the help that they can get. So it's one of those, like, I try to raise money for those smaller charities because the Trevor Project, on top of everything, is also the most funded queer charity in the world. And there are some smaller ones that I feel like need a spotlight. And as soon as they were like, yeah, you can raise money for whoever you want, I was fully on board. I was like, yeah, no, I'm doing this. We're good. And I actually painted the model that I went to Nova with, and then Dragonfall. I ended up not painting a Marine. I painted my bisexual disaster thirst trap goblin. So one of the favorite models I've ever painted. But I painted her for Pride, and because I always do stuff. I do stuff for Pride every year because obviously queer. And I work with Gaming Magazine. That's GAYMING. I do a lot of work. I'm their tabletop writer. I was one of their Rising Star streamers in 2022. I do a lot of stuff for queer charities and charity in general with my streaming. So I was really excited to get involved. I'm really looking forward to this year. I don't know what I'm painting yet. I'm very like, oh, what do I paint? But I'll figure it out. I've got a couple of months till June. I'm sure something will come up between now and then and be like, oh, I'm just gonna paint that. But yeah, no, it's really, really cool. And I was really happy to be involved, and I'm really looking forward to getting involved this year. I have a lot more people that are also going to be getting involved. Some newer streamers that are all like, yeah, we want to do this. And I was like, okay, well, hold your horses until the applications come out, and then you apply and let them know you want to get involved, and then we'll go from there.
That sounds great. I hope that takes off for you. Like, I mean, it sounds like it already has. So
Yeah, I'm doing a TTRPG fundraiser at the end of April for Take This Mental Health Charities.
okay,
And by the end of that, I will have been involved in the 5-year streaming with raising $50,000 for charity total over the last 5 years. So about a third of that is just personal, and the rest of it is being involved in big TTRPG like fundraising weekends.
I love it. I love it. We have some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Just whatever answer pops into your head. Okay, so Turbo Dork or Pro Acroll?
Both. I cannot pick between the two. I am sponsored by Turbodork. I am a Monumental for Monument Hobbies. The two types of paint work great together, and those are basically the two brands I use the most.
Fair. Favorite gaming convention?
Adepticon.
Twitch or YouTube?
Twitch.
Favorite game system models to paint?
D&D. Specifically Twin Goddess miniatures. They're my favorite miniatures out there.
Okay. Good plug. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Star Wars or Marvel?
Oh, that's a hard one. Marvel.
What is your favorite candy?
Favorite candy? Well, it's Easter, so let's just go with stale Peeps for right now because that's the best. They got to be stale. You got to pop the bag open like when you get them home and let them sit for a day.
I've heard a lot of people like those.
Super or plastic glue?
Oh, it depends on the models because I do a lot of resin. So super glue for resin and plastic glue for plastic.
Okay. Favorite streamer or YouTube channel? Or whoever you're watching right now?
Oh God, I watch a lot of Zambies. I hang out in Zambies chat. Like I literally don't stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays specifically so I can hang out in Zambies chat. AC Miniatures, Chimera Paints Minis, Ghoul Studio, Sebastian Miniatures, who just started painting. Oh my God, Spackle Grackle, who's a brand new streamer who I absolutely adore.
And I love the name.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just, there's so many. I'm chronically on Twitch and I mod for like 25 people. So I basically live on Twitch. It's what I do. Like, I don't even watch like TV and stuff. I might watch like an episode of something with my partner at night before we go to bed. But for the most part, I'm chronically on Twitch. Skelly B, she just got back to streaming. I love her. Yeah, like there's so many. I could shout out hundreds. June Goldblum, Holy Fire Them, like so many people. I'm going to be forget Riot Sister, who I'm literally lurking in her chat right now. Like there's so many. It's like so hard because I have so many friends who do this, like, and it's what we do, and we all hang out in each other's chats, and it's like one huge community.
No, it is wonderful how everybody supports one another. I definitely love it. I follow too many to watch any one person with any sort of regularity.
Yeah. Spark, I know you've had Spark on. I adore Spark. Like
she's great.
She and I have been screaming for weeks. Oh my God, we get to hug in just a couple weeks. Like we're counting down days.
And last one, plastic or metal minis?
Plastic. I like the weight of the metal ones, but I have chronic handshakes and sometimes it's just more than what my hands can manage. So I like my plastic minis. I like that they're a little bit more flexible and like being able to kit bash and like change them and move them and do that kind of stuff as opposed to metal.
Now, we know you do a lot on Twitch and Instagram. Where else can our listeners find you?
I am literally everywhere on the internet at Awkwardish Panda. I have a new Blue Sky that's doing really well. YouTube, TikTok, though TikTok is my shit posting site. Expect a lot of nonsense on there and a lot less mini content. Yeah, Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but I don't use it. It's just kind of there because I had to have it to have an Instagram. So, because I am that Instagram years old. Threads, it's literally Awkwardish Panda everywhere, but mostly Twitch and Instagram are going to be the easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Okay, excellent. We will look for you. So Panda, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. We adore you, especially now because I found out so much more about you. We, of course, are the Wardalls, and we are a community of geeky girls that are here to support and inspire and promote and love one another. We can be found online at thewardalls.com. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Discord. And most of those you can find us at The Wardalls. And the Discord link, the links to everything is right now in our Instagram.
And if you're interested in checking out the community, you can join us over on Discord, where we chat and hang out every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time during our hobby hang.
And as always, if you have any questions for our guests or topics that you would like us to discuss, please message us on Facebook or Instagram or send us an email at thewardalls@gmail.com.
See you on the battlefield.
That would be pretty fun.